So, Virasana, or when you're on your heels, it's called Vajrasana. When you're sitting on your heels, that means rock pose. And when you've got Virasana is actually sitting between your heels, right? It's kind of hard to do on a block, but it's mimicking both of these in a way, this pose. All right, so do it only if it works for your knees. You can use as many props as you'd like. And let's begin by just feeling grounded. So tuning into where you're making contact with the floor, with your props, where you feel your feet touching. Noticing where your hips are making contact with the floor or props. And you might just begin with a wide inhale through the nose and then blowing out through the mouth. Either with a sigh or like you're blowing out through pursed lips. Either one will work. And then doing that again. Good. And if there's any tension you could let go of, or any holding up against gravity, if you can let go of that and soften. And then beginning to notice your breath coming in and going out without having to change it at all. So just simply observing it. We're going to start with just a little bit of pranayama. Pranayama means breath work, and it is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. So asana, which is the physical part of yoga, is just one of the 8 limbs also. All right. So the pranayama that we'll try is called samavriti, and what it means is equal movement. So we'll try to inhale for the same length as we exhale. We'll start that way. And you can do this through your nose on the inhale and out through the nose or out through the mouth. All right. And you just inhale perhaps for a count of 4 and then exhale for that same count, or you can use whatever length is best for you. Now you can keep going with that, or if you want to, you can also add in pauses. So it's like the box breath, if you've ever heard of that. So I would inhale for 4, and then I would try to hold my breath for 4, exhale for 4, and hold it out for 4. So it's all even on all 4 sides. You're doing a count on the hold that does not feel stressful. All right, so adjust it to anything that does not feel like you have to strain for it. And we'll try a few rounds of that. And after your next exhale, and just let it go. And you can move either to your natural breath now, or you could use the Ujjayi breathing, where you hear the sound in the back of your throat, that little whisper sound. Okay. And from here, let's come, if you're sitting on your heels, let's come off of that and sit in any other position you want to sit in. And we'll take an inhale to stretch the arms up. And then exhale, lean down to one side. Good. And then inhale, stretching back up. And exhale, lean down to the other side. Good. And then we'll inhale, stretch up. And as you exhale, this time let's twist. So twist to one side, just a gentle twist. And then we'll inhale, stretch up, back to center. And exhale, twist to the other side. Let's do that whole set again. So we'll inhale, stretch up. Exhale, side bend. And then inhale, stretch up. And exhale, side bend. And inhale, stretch up. Exhale to twist. And inhale, stretch up. And exhale to twist. Good. And then we'll just come back to center. Inhale, stretching up. And as you exhale, let's come onto hands and knees. And we'll move through some cats and cows, just finding your breath here. So you can do these however you'd like to do them. Adding in any extra movements and breathing any way you want to breathe. Good, and then coming back to neutral, let's come into a side seat with one leg forward bent and one leg backward bent. And doesn't matter which leg is in front, we'll start some swivel seats. So you can place your hands behind you, lift the knees and bring them over to the other side and go back and forth. Now, if this doesn't feel right or you can't do it in your knees or hips, you can windshield wiper instead, right? So you could keep them in front like this, right? Or you can be swiveling and even adding in a reach. Twisting at any height, lingering if you want to. Okay, coming back through the center, we're going to come onto our backs and we're going to use a block down there. If you don't have a block, something firm you can roll up. We're going to be putting it between the knees in a moment. But the way I'm going to face on my mat is so that I have the long ends of it on either side. If you're not on a mat and you have plenty of space in the room you're in, then you don't have to change, of course. Okay, so I'll show it this way, so you'll be able to see me. So I'm in constructive rest pose with my knees bent, right? I can use head and neck support if I want. And just taking a couple of breaths there, noticing your body on the floor and all of the contact points. Breathing in and breathing out. Good, breathing in again. And then as you breathe out, lifting the feet off the floor so the knees are over the hips and sticking your block between the knees. Again, something else could work too. Now, if for you, you can't do this because of low back issues, you could keep your feet on the floor. And inhale to spread my arms to the sides and exhale to line the knees up over the hips. Good. Feel the core engaged to support you here. And then on an inhale, let's take the knees down to the right. You can take them close to the floor or just move them a little bit. And then begin your exhale. Engage your abdominals and bring them up to center. Okay. And then inhale down to the left. And again, exhale, engage abdominals up to center. Okay, we're going to change it a little bit. So we're going to inhale down to the right and now let them come all the way to the floor. And then as you exhale, take your left arm and bring it across your body, closing the book, right? It's like you're closing a big book and your head looks to the right. Okay. Now we'll inhale and open that left arm back up out to the left, and your head can come back to center. And then exhale, engage the abdominals to bring the knees up to center. Good. Inhale, knees down to the left. Exhale, right arm comes across to left, and you turn to look to the left. Inhale, opening that right arm, and your head comes back to the center. And exhale, engaging the abdominals, lifting knees up. I'm going to talk you through it again, okay? So inhale, down to the right. You can always put feet down first if it's too far. Exhale, left arm matches right as you turn your head to the right too. Inhale, left arm opens back up as your head comes to center. And exhale, engage abdominals back up. Inhale, knees down to the left. Exhale, close the book. Inhale, open the book. Exhale, engage abdominals back to center. Okay, now keep going on your own. And some things you could add in if you want to is choosing to straighten one leg, and you can alternate which leg you straighten while still keeping the block there. Or you could even choose to straighten both legs. Another thing that might help is to turn your palms down. That might help you control the motion of your legs when they come down to the side to land. Again, if it feels like too much on your back, please use feet on floor. Okay, another round here. One movement per breath if you can. Focusing on using the abdominals to bring you up. Okay, after you finish your round, let's bring the feet to the floor and take your block away. We'll bring the knees in towards your belly and just give a little hug, making circles on your low back. Now, if you can, you're gonna curl up into a little ball and just start to rock and roll until you either go forward and back, or if you need to change to the parallel way on your mat, parallel with the side edges, then you can swivel yourself around as you roll. Okay, that's what I've done. All right, and then I'm gonna come back into on my back with my knees in. Inhale. And exhale, let's place the left foot on the floor. Inhale, let's stretch the right leg up toward the ceiling. And exhale, bend again. And just repeat that a few times. Your left leg could also be straight on the floor if you prefer. Now, if you want to hold the leg up there, you could, and roll the ankle around a couple times in both directions. Good. And then we'll let that foot come down and switch legs, bringing the left knee in, holding behind. Right leg can be bent or straight. You can spend a few breaths straightening and bending the left leg up toward the ceiling. You want to leave it up there, you could. Good, and then let's bring the foot down. Let's bend both knees, feet on the floor. And then exhale, draw the knees in. Inhale, let's straighten both legs up toward the ceiling. Now, an alternative to this would be to have one foot on the floor, one leg up. So if your low back is bothering you and that feels better, go for it, okay? Another alternative, which I like better if your low back is bothering you or if you just need more help, is to go over to a piece of furniture or the wall and have the knees bent instead like this at a 90-degree angle with your feet on the wall. Okay, so that's an option too, okay? I'm going to show the variation with the legs up first. I'm going to inhale, interlace hands behind your head. And exhale, elbows curl around the ears as you lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Now, if you're doing this in the center of the room with the legs up, what we'll do is find an exhale and start to draw the lower belly in, but not by sucking in, by tightening the abdominals, and try to lift the tailbone off the floor. So it's like you're pressing the feet into the ceiling, okay? Straight up and back down. And you're trying to keep the feet up and the head and shoulders off the floor. And do several rounds of that. If you're doing this against the wall, which will be a lot easier, so if you're struggling, just go to a wall or a piece of furniture. What you can do is one foot is bent, or one knee is bent with the foot on the wall, one leg's up toward the ceiling, and you're doing the same thing. So you can see me here if you're interested. I'm using my foot against the wall to help me do this motion, but I'm still getting a lot of core work, okay? And I'm lifting up, because it's quite hard to do the other one, isn't it? And if you need a break at any time, go for it. Oh, I really like this one at the wall, you guys. So if you're getting tired, go for the wall. You can do a few with each foot or switching sides. And you're trying to use, if you're away from the wall, try to use as little momentum as possible, okay? So you're trying to do this with just your core and not with a ton of momentum rocking and rolling. And at the wall, you won't be able to use momentum. Good. And then coming down when you're ready. You could windshield wiper. If you were using the wall or furniture, you can come away from it now. And we'll set our feet up for a bridge pose, or in Sanskrit, that's Setu Bandha Sharvangasana. Arms wherever they feel best. And I'll just stretch out the abdominals by lifting up into bridge pose and lowering down. And you can breathe however you want to breathe. You could inhale up and exhale down, or vice versa. If this is bothering your back today, you could simply do pelvic press down. So you could exhale, press the low back down without lifting the hips up, right? So modify as needed. Good, and next time you come down, we're going to grab our block again, or whatever you were using between your knees. You could also use like a squishy ball, big ball. Okay, so your block between your knees, it could be narrow or it could be the medium width. You just don't really want it, I don't think you'd want it the really wide width. Okay, and what we're going to do here is first we're going to squeeze the block. So if you have to adjust where it is so you get a better squeeze, go for it. And when you squeeze the block, can you feel your lower abdominals engage? And you can take your fingers there just to poke around, see if you can feel that. So block is between knees, your hips are on the floor, you're not doing a bridge pose. And you're just going to poke around and feel if your abdominals are engaging. Okay. Keep breathing. Okay. Good. Now, next,
let's lift the heels off the floor. And when I do that, I'm on the balls of my feet. So the balls of the feet are down. I'm going to walk the feet, I'm walking them a little closer to my hips so I can push into the floor with the balls of my feet. And now let's try to squeeze the block again. So my heels are up off the floor, balls of the feet down, and I'm squeezing the block and checking in with my abdominals. Okay, keep breathing. Relax the arms out wherever they feel best. And now could you press your low back down to the floor? Squeeze the block. Heels are still lifted. Good, keep breathing. Now you could stay here or you could lift the hips off the floor. It's just a little lift, or it's not a full bridge pose. And I'm still squeezing the block, and you might get a hamstring cramp. So you might, all of a sudden they're working really hard. Your glutes are working hard. Your calves are working hard. So we're engaging the posterior chain of the body as well as the core. Good. Try another breath here. Or two. And then lower down. And you can take your block away here. Let's come into a wide knees to chest or a happy baby pose where the knees are wide. You wrap your arms around the outer knees. You can rock a little bit, just stretching out those hamstrings a little bit. Good, and then you can either rock yourself up, curling into a ball, or roll to your side to come up. And we're gonna come onto our bellies, starting out in Sphinx pose. Remember, if this bothers your back, you could have your elbows wide and go lower, stacking the hands, okay? Or you could have your elbows right below your shoulders or a little bit ahead. And let's inhale, press the pubic bone down as you spread across your collarbones. And exhale, soften your jaw. And as you inhale, can you feel a really wide breath? And exhale, softening around your neck. Good. Now, can you engage your lower abdominals here a little bit more than you already are? Hopefully you already are a little, but just go a little bit more. So it's almost like you're going to lift off the mat completely. Okay, engage those lower abdominals, taking the bend out of your lower back or the compression out of your lower back. Another breath here. Good. And now let's lower down so that your forehead is on the backs of your hands. And just taking a breath in and a breath out. All right, we're going to reach the right arm out on an angle. Like if you were in the face of a clock and your head was at midnight, the arm would probably be around 2 o'clock. But you can adjust it wherever it needs to be, okay? Now, roll the right shoulder away from the floor, like lift it off the floor, drawing the right shoulder blade down your back. And then let's turn your head to the left, unless you need to see me first. And I'm going to put my left hand flat on the floor like a push-up, okay? And I'm going to bend my left knee, and I'm going to push into that right hand until I start to lift the left hip off the floor. Maybe the foot flips around behind my back, and I keep rolling this right shoulder away from the floor. Take another breath there. Head is looking to the left or even behind you to the left. Good, and then let's switch sides. So now you come back around, left arm goes up maybe at 10 or 11 o'clock or even 9:30. Right hand presses down, you look to the right. First, roll that left shoulder away from the floor, bend right knee, exhale, opening up. Good, another breath there. Now let's go side to side,
Okay, so you can take your time going side to side. And we're trying to open up the front of the shoulder and into the pec minor. So you're trying not to let that front of the shoulder collapse toward the floor. You might be getting an opening in the low back as well. Good. And then coming back around, you can press yourself up onto hands and knees and then sitting back to child's pose. And let's do extended child, stretching arms out in front. Your forehead can come down between the arms. And as you inhale, feeling some expansion, if you can, in the back body. And as you exhale, relaxing somewhere. So that might mean letting the arms bend or supporting the forehead. Good. Now let's rise up to hands and knees. And as you exhale, let's tuck the toes under and let's see about lifting the knees off the floor. Let's see how that feels. You might find that you have to come right back down, okay? Or you might find that you need to be on forearms to try it, okay? If your wrists don't want to bear that much weight. Okay, so just try that, holding it or coming in and out. Good, and then either coming into puppy dog pose, so that's knees down, hips over knees, arms stretch forward, like this, or downward facing dog with the knees off the floor and stretching back. Okay, so either one, whichever one feels right to you right now. We'll just take 2 more breaths or 3 more breaths. And then you can start to walk the hands back or do the bear get up if you've been in knees down. And come all the way up to standing. And when you get there, just inhale to reach your arms up. And exhale, arms out and down. Good. Inhale, rolling your shoulders up. And exhale, taking them down your back. And again. All right. Let's bring, and you might not need this, okay? I'm going to show it like this. I'm going to put the chair on my left side with the seat. We're going to be on the floor in a half kneel. Now, I just want to remind you of how to do this if you can't bear weight on one of your knees. Okay, so first I'm going to show, and I love this variation, it works really well. I'm going to show the no load lunge on the chair. To do that, this is the one where we turn to one side. So say I couldn't bear weight, this is my left knee here. If I couldn't bear weight on my left knee, I would use this option. So I would scoot, turn to the side, take the leg back, and so when I did my lunge and tucked my tail under, I'm getting this awesome stretch, really good stretch through the hip flexor, but there's no weight on this left knee, okay? So if you can't bear weight on the knee, this is a really good option. I love this. If you can, we can do this on the floor, okay? We're gonna do I guess we're gonna do the right knee back first though, okay? So check in with your right side because our chair is on the left. Okay, so the right knee is going to be on padding, unless you don't need padding, but it's nice to have, okay? And here I am. If your right knee hurts right now, choose the no load lunge option for this, okay? Right leg back. Now let's tuck the tail under, right? Your front foot is below your front knee, not behind it, okay? Right below it or a little ahead. I'm already, by tucking the tail, getting this stretch. That's what you're trying to feel for. Okay, so make sure you tuck that under. Good. And then keeping that tuck under and your glute tight. And then inhale, stretch the right arm up, up, up. And you can stay right here, or you can exhale and do a slight lean to the left. So your hand can be on the chair. Your hand can also be in this variation, which we've done before, placing the hand on the inner knee and creating some counter pressure if you don't need the chair for balance. Good. Let's do several more breaths here. So keep tucking the tail, getting that long side stretch. Good. And then inhale, coming up. And exhale, arm down. Now, you can turn around to use the chair on the other side. If you don't need the chair, you can just switch sides, right? Okay. So actually, I get a better stretch with the no load lunge, to be honest. So please don't hesitate to come to the chair if that feels better. All right, so I've got the left leg back. First things, tuck the tail. Engage your back glute. Make sure you got no knee pain. Find that stretch in the front of the left hip flexor area. Good. When you're ready, inhale, left arm reaches up. Go as high as you can there. And then exhale, stay there. You can put your hand on the chair and lean to the right, or you can put the hand on the inner knee, create some counter pressure as you lean. Keep tucking the tail under to get way in there. Neck and jaw relaxed, a few more breaths. I would just look down towards your knee for this so that your neck is at ease. Good, and then inhale as you rise back up. Exhale, you can bring the hand down and you can try to stand up from here as well, either using support from the chair or not. Challenge yourself to try to stand straight up. So you'd inhale, exhale, tucking the toes and coming up, stepping forward and noticing. So just arms down. Notice how your legs feel. Notice how your feet feel connected to the floor. And let's come back to that rhythmic breath. So not with the holds, not with the pauses, but just inhale, exhale, same length, okay? You can do any count you want. Let's add arms as we do it. So you can use a count of 4 or longer. Inhaling up and exhaling down, trying to match your movement to your breath length. Good. Next time you come down, let's stay there. All right, if you've got anything on your mat, you can take it out of the way. And let's grab our straps. All right. I have a yoga strap, but any kind of strap will work. And with the yoga strap, I just folded it in half. And then I'm gonna come into warrior one pose, right leg forward, left leg back. Feet separated like you're on 2 tracks rather than a tightrope. 3 corners of each foot grounding down, okay? And just find that position with the legs. And then you can try to shift your right hip, the leg that's forward. Shift that hip back. Okay, now if this bothers your back today, you can always lean forward and see if that helps. Okay, so just check in, notice how you feel here. Okay. Now we're going to take our strap and bring it behind the back. And I've just got it between my hands like so. I'm going to grab it. Okay. And then from there, I'm going to try to roll my shoulder heads back. Good. And then I'm also feeling like I'm trying to pull the strap apart. Okay, so I've got pressure, I'm pulling out, rolling shoulder heads back. If it feels better to you in your back, you can lean forward, or you can just explore that and see how it feels to lean forward. Good. Keep breathing. Neck and jaw relax. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Good. 1 more breath. Good. And then release. Let the strap go. Step it forward. Good. Notice how you feel on the 2 sides of your body. Take a sigh if you want. And now we'll go left leg forward, right leg back. Same thing. Strap behind your back. Rolling the shoulder heads back without lifting the chest, really. It's just the shoulder heads, okay? Pulling the arms apart. Good. And you can stay upright or you can hinge. Breathing. Neck at ease, jaw at ease. And release. Good. Let's let go of the strap. You can set it down and we'll grab our block again. If you don't have a block, you can just use the strap for the first part, and then I'll show you something else you can do for the second part. Okay, so now we're going to go back to right leg forward, warrior 1. This time we'll hold the block behind our back. So I'm holding it with clasping around the edges, okay, like that, on the short ends. And the same setup, I'm going to roll my shoulder heads back and then feel like you're trying to pull the block apart. Like you could rip it in half. You might find you have to bend the elbows. If you want to lean forward, you can. Keep breathing. Good. Now release the block into one hand. If you have a block, we're going to take it behind your skull. If you do not have a block, you'll interlace your hands behind your skull like this, okay? So the block can support the back of your head so your neck is at ease. And this time, if you're able to, you could lift the back heel off the floor, bend the back knee, and tuck the tail, and lift the chest as you lean the head into the block. And we'll take 2 more breaths there, maybe looking a little higher on the wall ahead of you, and lifting through the chest. 1 more breath. And release. Come back to center. Release and stand. Just notice for a moment. All right, other side. Left leg forward, right leg back. Okay, block behind the back. Rolling shoulder heads back. So in this one, we're not lifting the chest like a back bend, right? I'm just working shoulders, all right? Good, trying to straighten the arms if you can, but if you can't, you just work on rolling shoulder heads back. Good, keep breathing. Good, and then from here, we'll release the block into one hand. If you have one, you're taking it behind the head. You can lift the back heel off the floor. You might need to bring it closer. Bend the back knee, tuck the tail. And on this one, if it feels good to you, you can lift the chest as well. So kind of letting the head lean either into the hands or the block. One more breath. And release, lean forward, come up. You can drop your block or whatever you're using, and let's swing and twist gently. Noticing how your back feels. You know, if your back was sore and you overdid it, kind of recognizing that. Good, and then coming back to the center, and we will hula hoop the hips a little bit. And if you want to, you can even add in a little bit of that zombie hula hoop where you're letting your torso drape around as well. Good. All right. For this next part, you'll either need the wall or the chair for balance. And you might need your strap. We're going to be doing baby dancer pose where you reach for a foot. So if you know you can't get your foot, you'll get your strap. And sometimes I have to help people with this. So if you're on your own, obviously I can't help you. But if you need it, just take your time and I'll help you figure out how to do it. This is how I do it with the strap. I make a little loop and it doesn't go around my ankle, it goes around my foot. And then I hold up close to it. Okay, like that. All right. If you're using your hand, just going to inhale, stand tall. Exhale, right foot comes up. And then see if you can reach for the foot. Okay. And now, the hard part here, if you're tight in your quads, is going to be to line up your knees so that that right one isn't ahead of the left. See if you can do that. And stand tall. Your arm is straight. Your arm is straight, the one that's holding the foot. So even if you're in close, I mean, it doesn't have to be straight. It could be a little bent. Yeah, it can be a little bent. Good. All right, that's it. Come on down. Let's switch sides. All right, so either strap or hand. Lifting left foot up. If you're using the strap, think about arms straight. You're just trying to get close to the foot with your arm. That's it. Oh, I guess mine's bending now too. It depends on how close you're pulling it. All right, trying to line up the knees next to one another. Feel like you're lifting your pubic bone up toward your sternum. Good, top of the head towards ceiling. Breathing. Good. And release. All right, just keep the strap nearby. Might need it again in a moment. For this, I'm going to use the wall in front of me, but you could use the back of your chair in front of you too if you don't have a nearby wall space. Okay. And for this one, what I'm going to do is I will step my right leg forward, or let's do left leg forward, bend the knee, fingertips on the chair or the wall, and I'll lift my right foot off the floor, bending the knee, and trying to lift the knee up behind me. Yeah, as though I could stamp my foot on the ceiling, probably the back wall, but maybe the ceiling, and you can hinge forward and breathe. Might get a little hamstring cramp. Try to let go of your neck. Chest stays lifted a little bit. Good, and then come back up. All right, so we're doing an active version of dancer pose. Just watch me for a moment, okay? So in this, when I said chest lifted, I think you all did it what I was intending, which just means I'm not trying to bend down far, right? Instead, I'm trying to lift that back knee up. But I don't want you to go into any compression in your low back. So when I say lift the chest, it's more of an energetic feeling, okay? Let's try the other side. So now we'll be stepping with the right foot forward, bending the knee, fingertips to your chair or the wall. Then lifting the left foot off the floor, bending the knee. And then seeing about lifting that knee as you hinge at the hip and breathe. Try not to put too much weight on your arms, right? They're just there for balance, and you're breathing. Good, and then come down. Just wiggle it out a little bit. Notice how your back is feeling. Okay, now in this next one here, you can choose. So say you're noticing like, oh, my back is cranky doing that. That didn't feel good. You could take a seat and do something else. Or you could come back to the first baby dancer pose, just a standing quad stretch, all right? This is a great option to open things up that's not gonna get your back involved at all, okay? So that's an option. You can also do the second option again if you prefer. I'm gonna show a third idea. The third idea, and just watch me first, we will start the same way, although you might be using a strap, okay? I'll start the same way, but this time I'm gonna reach around for my foot. And when I do that, I could reach for the outside of the foot like this, or I could reach for the inside of the foot like this. Either one is fine. But the difference here is I'm going to kick my foot back into my hand and try to face the wall or the chair and lift the knee up. It might look more like this. That's fine. Okay, you don't have to be over that far as I was showing. It can be right up here. But you're getting the sensation of kicking it back and opening the shoulder. If you're using the strap, you'll do the same thing you did before. You'll loop it, but the arm is going to want to come way down so you can kick it into it to open up, and it can give a really nice extension of the arm. All right, so choose which one you want to do. Baby dancer, something else entirely, what we did last, or moving on. All right, so when you're ready, I'm going to step one leg forward, find your support, lift the opposite leg up, bend the knee. Reach around for your strap or your foot. Kick the foot back, if you're doing this version, into the strap or hand, opening up the chest and shoulder as you lean forward to counterbalance. Nice, everybody. One more breath. And release. Good. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let's do the second side. Here we go. When you're ready, inhale, stand tall. Exhale, other leg steps forward, bend the knee. Find your support. Lift the back foot off the floor. All right, you can either stay here or you can reach around with the hand or strap to get the foot. The strap you would have needed to put it in before. And then kick the foot back into the strap or hand, leaning over the amount that feels right to you and breathing. And when you're ready, release. Whew. Good job, everybody. Wiggle around. We're going to come into a forward fold if that feels good on your body. Okay, so I'm going to give several options for everybody's back. Okay, option one would be to sit in a chair, lean forward either onto elbows or to floor. I love that option. Okay, option two, just a regular old forward fold to floor or chair. And option three, if your back is bothering you, would be either to stay more lifted like this, where you're extending spine forward, right? Or even a chair down dog, where you're stretching back. All right, so choose whichever one feels best in your own body. Gosh, they all feel good to me right now. So just pick and choose. Move around in the pose however you see fit, or use your breath to help bring some space into that rib cage. Good, and then We'll come to the floor next. Now, I'm going to use my chair for my final rest. We're not doing that just yet, but I've got mine set up and ready. So if you would like to use your chair, it's a really good way to give some symmetry to a pose, is the legs over the chair pose, especially after doing dancer pose where it's so asymmetrical, right? So this gives symmetry. So you could get that set up first if you want. And then taking Sukhasana, or a cross-legged seat. You can prop it however you need to. Just pause for a moment there. If you need a different seated pose, choose that. And you can let your eyes close if you'd like, or just let them rest on a spot. We're going to do a variation of Viloma Pranayama, another type of breath work. And to do that, first just noticing your breath as it comes in and as it goes out. If you can situate your rib cage over your pelvis, it'll make it easier to breathe. So if you need to be against a wall or a piece of furniture, that can help. And have your legs however they feel best. First, just working with the three-dimensional breath. And then as you inhale maybe to that count of 4 again. And let's try to extend the exhale to a longer count, maybe 6 or longer. If you have trouble lengthening your exhale, which a lot of people do, you can use the Ujjayi breath, but you could also use a humming breath, the Brahmari breathing. So on the exhale, you could hum, right? Feel free to use that as well. I really like that breath for myself. Now you can keep breathing in this way, and you can also add a pause if you'd like, halfway through the exhale. So you'd inhale, then you'd exhale about halfway, pause just for a moment, and then exhale all the way and continue. And after your next exhale is letting it go, you can continue with the long exhale if you'd like. And on the following inhale, just sit up tall. And on the exhale, twisting to one side. And we'll just stay here for 2 breaths. As you're ready, you can exhale back to center. And inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, twisting in the other way. And exhale, untwisting. We'll come onto our backs, either using the chair or if you have a wall, legs up the wall can be a really nice symmetrical pose if you like that. Okay. Just want your feet to be free, so either chair turned to the side or you can also be on the floor in constructive rest pose with the knees bent, feet wide, knees leaning in. And you might feel good just to begin by drawing the knees in towards your belly and giving them a hug. They're one or both knees. Might feel good to rock a little bit or make circles. And then as you're ready to, can settle into a relaxation, restorative pose, or shavasana. Just getting yourself feeling supported and comfortable as best as you can. Choosing a pose that is symmetrical and noticing the 2 sides of your body, which won't necessarily feel the same side to side by any means. But noticing that the pose is the same side to side. And can you practice now letting go of effort? Feeling as though you're dropping into the floor and the props a little bit further, allowing yourself to be supported. You can let go of your breath control as well. Just let your breath be natural. If you're having trouble letting go, try taking a sigh or blowing out through the mouth.
noticing where your attention is right now, and feeling for spreading your awareness throughout your body. And when you do decide to come out of the pose, doing so consciously and slowly, just taking your time.
And thanks for joining me. I will see you next time.